Spectacular. Good job, everyone. Next question caused a lot of trouble for people, unless you read the question. Tom is on the 13th floor of his apartment building. There's Tom's building. Tom's on the 13th floor, which means he's not on the ground, right? Tom is on the 13th floor, which is 130 feet, right? Tom looks across the street. There's another building. Tom, being a creeper, notices that there are people in that building. He looks down at the ground and he sees who's on the ground. Sandra is on the ground. Once Tom's eyes go down to Sandra, what has he made? An angle of depression. A theta right there of what? 40. Do I know this distance? 130. Of course I do, because it's the same as over here. Then Sandra notices, gives him a rude gesture so he stops looking at her, and he looks up and sees Elizabeth at 10 degrees. Do I know this distance? No. There's your x. To find that distance, I need something in the red triangle, which is 2 pieces of information. I have 1. Can I get this? Of course I can. I can get the adjacent from down here, because tan of 40 equals 130 over y. Y equals 130 divided by tan 40, yes? Now once I have y, I know that tan 10 equals opposite x over y. I know y is 130 over tan 40, right? So this equals 130 divided by tan 40, which I then multiply by tan 10 to get x. I cannot remember what x is. It is something like 27, I think. And this distance is 157 feet, I think, which is 16 floors. I think. I don't remember exactly. What do you people have for numbers there? Everybody attempted this. Somebody must have something close to it. No? 16 floors? Okay. Is everybody cool? Again, the question tells you what to do. This is not art class. I do not care what your buildings look like. You don't even need to draw them. You will not get any extra points for making sure there's a gargoyle on this wing with horns and a yucky face guarding the building. You don't need that. Isosceles triangle. What is the measure of the angle of inclination? There is the angle of inclination, yes? Your theta, I don't know. What do you know? Your hypotenuse is 8, and you know your adjacent is what? No. Adjacent is 6, because you need a right angle triangle. So, it's shift cos of adjacent 6 over hypotenuse 8, which is 8, 6, about... No, that's tan. 7.5. I don't remember. What is it? 41? Sounds good to me. Because again, this is what's important. If you have that on your sheet, you're doing it right. Same question as Peeping Tom, slightly different. From the roof of Ye's building. So here's Ye up on the roof of his building. Don't jump, Ye. The angle of elevation to the top of a taller building. Another building. Angle of elevation, 37. Angle of depression, 28. The buildings are 21 apart. How tall is the taller building? Do you know this distance? No, there's x. Do you know this distance? No, there's y. It's going to be tan, right? Opposite over adjacent. 21 tan 37 equals x. Right? 21 tan 28 equals y. Then what do I do with 21 tan 37 and 21 tan 28? Add them, because you would add x and y, and you get whatever you get. I don't know what it is. What is it? Since no one is putting up their hand, anybody who puts up their hand is actually going to be in higher esteem with me, even if you get the answer wrong. Thank you, Jacob. 39 meters. Anybody else get 39? Good, that's corroborated. Or I can take 2 seconds to check it. 21 tan 37 plus 21 tan 28. I get 27. I got 27. But again, if you show me that, you've done it right. Two boys are standing on opposite sides of a mountain. Mountain. Yeah? One boy here. Boy 1. One boy here. Boy 2. The angles of elevation at the top of the mountain are, for this boy, 65. For this boy, 50. They want to meet at the top. Where are they walking? Up the what? The hypotenuses, yes? The peak of the mountain is 1350. So this guy is, what am I going to use? Since I have hypotenuse, what can't I use? Can't use tan. So I'm going to be using sine or cos. Which one is it? Sine of 65 is 1350 over h. Sine of 50 equals 1350 over h. How far do they have to walk? This guy is 1350 divided by sine 65, and this guy is 1350 divided by sine 50. If you get to there, I'm happy. The answers, this guy had to walk 1489.5.6, and the other guy had to walk 1762.3. Yeah? Yeah. Now, please, your next pages should have 2 pages of word problems, yes? Right? I want you to do any 4 from page 70. 4 from page 70 and 2 from page 71. Do those right now, please. That is our, 3 and 4 should be reversed. After we finish this practice work, your next page, you will notice, says test review. We're going to put everything from Trig on that page. Tomorrow you are going to write your Trig Kreplach quiz. I don't say quiz. I've gone over it 1,000,000 times. Your unit review, which starts on page 73, is due Thursday. Wednesday. Right? Which means you'll write your quiz tomorrow. You'll start that review tomorrow. We'll mark it Wednesday. Wednesday we will move on to Unit 3. You will have your Unit 2 test on Thursday.
What's Unit 3?
Roots and powers. Go diddly-o. I will be walking around offering assistance where needed. Anyone else from page 70? Once? Twice? Thrice, yes. Everybody has done 4 of them and gotten the answers right? You haven't done 4 yet? Oh, okay. Before you can be good at trig, you have to actually know how to use Pythagoras. When do we add in Pythagoras? What are we trying to find if we're adding things? That gets you the hypotenuse. And what are you adding?
The 2 legs.
Leg squared plus leg squared. And then what must you do to your answer? Square root your answer. That gets you the hypotenuse. When do you subtract? When you need a leg. And what is it? This is where you screw up. It has to be hypotenuse squared minus leg squared, and then square root the answer. And that gets you your missing leg. What are you going to screw up here? You are going to do addition because you have had a squared plus b squared plus c squared drilled into your skull without spending time to talk about what is actually happening. A bunch of you on your test on Thursday are going to do this. You're going to do this triangle, 5, 4, I want this side, and you are going to tell me that this is 25 plus 16 square root, which is the square root of 41, which is 6 point something. And you are going to tell me this is 6 point something. And what will I do when I mark it? No, what will I physically do? I will tear out a handful of my hair. Do you want me to look even stupider than I look now? If you do not care about your own math grade, at least care about my hair. Because it's running away. I'm losing it daily. I'd like to keep it. What if my wife gets hit by a bus? Well, then I would be bald. Huh? I would not get a toupee. Never in a million years would I get a toupee. I would stay bald. That's my point. Now, what some of you, because of what I just said, will be like, I will not do that, Mr. Myers. You will not catch me on that. So then I would say, okay, kid. Yeah, what's happening?
What is that?
I got 2 triangles attached to each other. This is a 90, and this is a 90. You will do this work, and you will screw this up, and you won't show any work, so you'll tell me this is wrong. You'll say it's shorter than one of these 2 sides, and then you'll use that over here. Don't do it. Before you do any work, what should you do? See if it makes sense. If I give you any number, somebody say a number. Somebody say another number. 8's too easy. 12. If I tell you to find that third side of that triangle, before you touch anything, what should you do? Estimate. Can it be longer than 12? No, it is impossible. So before you touch your calculator, you should say, my answer must be less than 12. Then when you do the work, and you will do this and screw up and do 12 squared plus 6 squared to get the square root of 180, which is 13 point something, you will not write that down. Good? Good. Next thing. Know what a trig ratio is. Tan is a ratio. What is it? It's opposite over adjacent, which then, if you on your calculator do opposite divided by adjacent, you will get a value that is a decimal. That's the ratio. Does that ratio give you any measurements on a triangle? No. We use that ratio to find measurements on a triangle. Everybody understand the difference? Just like a hammer does not build a house. Everybody cool? The ratio is the fraction. Does it matter what these numbers are? If there's decimals, we still write it. Everybody got it? Tan, sine, cos. Know them. How do you remember them? SOHCAHTOA. You're going to be allowed to have that sheet, but you were allowed to have that sheet on the surface area test too, weren't you? Everybody cool? Thirdly, know this. Whatever trig ratio you have, trig ratios, they find side lengths. Trig ratios shifted find angles. All right? What do I mean by that? Before you do any work, shift or regular? Regular. Why? You're trying to find a side. Is that a possible triangle? No, of course not. Why? Nope. The hypotenuse is shorter than a leg. I did it to mess with your heads. 12. Is that a possible triangle? Good. Shift or regular? Why? Because you have no angles. This is trig shift. This is trig. Okay? And lastly, the last thing that you should remember that always makes me frustrated, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh. Check your calculator for what? Degree mode. Check your work for what? When you hand me in an answer, what should it do? Make sense. Does that triangle make sense? Why not? The angle is super tiny, isn't it? I only went up a very tiny bit. Can I possibly have it be bigger than 18? No. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Have your answer make sense. Right? How do you know if it makes sense? If that's 45 and that's 18, what does that have to be? 18, right? Because if that's 45, that's 45. Two angles the same, two sides are the same, correct? So, anything less than 45, this number is going to be what? Bigger or smaller? If this is less than 45, what's going to happen here? Smaller. If this is less than 45, it's going to shrink down here, right? If it's down close to 1 degree, right, then this has to be almost nothing. If it's close to 45, it's got to be what? Close to 18, right? What if it goes higher than 45? 47, is that going to be close to 18? Yeah. 75, is that going to be close to 18? It's going to be slightly higher. It's about halfway between 45 and 90, yeah? So it's got to be quite a bit more. Everybody understand? All right. Now listen. It is 10:47. You have class for 7 more minutes. Tomorrow you are writing a short trig quiz on basically this page. Everything I just wrote down. That's what you'll need to do it. When you finish that quiz, tomorrow in class, you are going to start this review. This review on page 73 is due when you walk in the door Wednesday. I will come around, and instead of check plus or check minus, I will give you a mark out of 10 based on how complete it looks. If every question has a decent bit of work there, and I will take a second to look to make sure you're not writing things like Myers is a doofus instead of tan. If it is mostly done, I will give you 9 to 10. If it is about 3/4 done, I will give you 7 to 8. If it is about half done, I will give you 5 to 6. 3 to 4, 0 to 3. Then we will mark it. Then I will collect the marks. If I wrote 5 to 6 because you only had it half done, and you try to tell me you got 29 out of 31, what am I going to know? That you're a liar. And what is the maximum mark I will give you if I give you 5 or 6? I will give you approximately 17 out of 31. Does everyone understand? So, if you wish, you could start on that tonight. I'm not going to tell you to, because you got other work you could practice with. But when you walk in the door Thursday, 73, 74, 75, and 76 are done. What if you get stuck on question 6 out of 18? Skip it and move on. Because let's say you do 17 out of 18 questions. What am I giving you? 9 to 10, right? If you stop at 6, you're at 33% done. So I'm going to give you 3. Right? Persevere.